finally the day where we talk about the lore of the new Christmas update in Dandy's world. And we have a lot of new secrets to uncover this year, with new tapes, new notes, and even something that I personally noticed that I haven't seen anybody talk about yet. So make sure you leave a like if you like lore, and let's see what we can learn. Well, before we dive into any of the new things from this year's update, I want to go back in the past and remind ourselves about what we knew from last year. Like these two notes from Arthur and Delilah, where Arthur wrote, Delilah, ever since Christmas passed, the holiday tunes have often been found hiding in corners around the place. It's honestly concerned some of the staff, and when I try to talk to the tunes, they seem to have less interest. You may want to give them a checkup and make sure everything's working well. We don't want unhappy tunes. And then Delilah responded to that note saying that behavior is natural to them. Don't worry about it. Christmas is gone. We don't need them interacting with the public during the off season. That's a waste of resources. They'll be right and in working shape when the holiday comes back. Until then, they want to be alone, naturally isolating. Think of it as a good thing. So we know from this that all of the holiday tunes that are not currently in season are kind of programmed by Delilah to sort of isolate themselves, hide in corners, and be very creepy, I guess. But honestly, abnormal and erratic behavior is kind of just a normal thing in the Garden View Center at this point. But from these two notes, we can tell that Arthur is clearly pretty worried about it, and Delilah is not worried about it at all. She doesn't think it's a problem, but Arthur is a little bit concerned, at least it seems, for the tunes. But then you fast forward to this year's Christmas event, and it kind of paints a different picture for Arthur that we haven't really seen before. Here inside the new seasonal room, if you go back behind this corner over here, you will find the lore area of the new Christmas map. As always, you will find ichor all over the place and trash cans that are spilled, but you'll also find tons of presents and what looks to be kind of a workshop, with ichor also all over the desk and tools. There's a nice picture of Arthur and Bobette in the corner, and opposite that, there is a TV that plays a new tape. Huge shout out to this YouTube channel that I have no idea how to pronounce right here for posting the full tape here on YouTube so that we can more easily watch it. I'll have this video linked down below if you guys want to look at this with me. But you'll see Bobette and Arthur having a conversation in the seasonal room on December 6, 2001 at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Arthur starts out by complimenting Bobette, saying she did really well with the last meet and greet session. It was really festive. And Bobette's like, thank you. I'm always working to spread the holiday cheer. Just doing my job. But then Arthur thinks he has a really bright idea. He says, it makes me think, what if we can give out twice as many gifts this year? And look at Bobette's face. She's like, what? In just a few frames of video, she goes from looking really cheerful to looking very worried to just looking down in like a little bit of sadness. She does later ask twice as many, but who's gonna make all those presents? But I think deep down right here, she knew that he was expecting her to make all of those presents. Arthur does say, well, you of course, unless you don't think you can. And then Bobette says, no, I can most definitely make all the presents because she is a try-hard cheer giver. Arthur compliments her again, saying you've always been so great at sharing the spirit of the holiday. So many people are happier because of you. Thank you, Bobette. You've never caused us any trouble. Well, I have to tend to some matters. Let me know if you need anything at all, but knowing you, I doubt it, haha. And then Bobette puts on probably the most forced smile of her life and says, haha, bye, have a holiday-filled day. Because right after this, she looks sad again, sits on this chair, and then how many hours is that? She sits down at 4:07 p.m. and she doesn't get out of the chair until 8:21 p.m. So for over 4 hours, she was just sitting in this chair thinking. And lastly, right after she gets out of the chair, she gives a little nod. Do you see that right there? That just tiny little nod? To me, that is almost like an acceptance from Bobette. She's just been sitting thinking literally for 4 hours straight. And finally, she like gets off the chair and she's like, okay, I can do this. Deep down, Bobette is programmed to please people. She's programmed to bring the holiday cheer. So no matter what, she's not gonna put on this forward-facing front of sadness or anything other than what she's programmed to do. However, clearly deep down, she still feels sad and she doesn't quite think she'll be able to do what she's being asked. Arthur literally waited until December 6th to tell her she has to do twice as much work this year. She has less than 20 days to do twice the amount of work. And so what does Bobette then go and do? She writes down all her true feelings on a note. She writes, every time Christmas returns, it feels as if there's less time for me to spend with my friends. I know it's a big event for Garden View. I know it's important. I know I do a great job every single year. I hate to be any trouble. After all, I'm perfect for my role. I've been perfect at it for years. Despite that all, despite it being my season, I have this feeling that I am not appreciated enough and I don't like it. Can Delilah fix it? Is it a part of me? Can someone fix it? Please, please, please? What's extra sad about this note is you can see these stains that are on it. And to me, these look a lot like teardrop stains. They look like teardrop stains that dropped, like as she was writing it, she was crying. The tear fell onto the note and then it just kind of dried up. And this is pretty much exactly what that would look like. And of course, there's also Icor on this note as well. Icor circles friends and Icor circles I've been perfect at it for years. It seems pretty clear to me at this point, with all of the lore that we've gotten, especially for the holiday tunes like Gordy and Bassie, is that when they are at an extremely heightened emotional state, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's jealousy, that is kind of when they become enraged and they kind of become twisted and break out of their normal self. So I think when Bobette finished writing this note, she was in such an emotional state that she started to become twisted. And when she became twisted, that's when she circled these specific things with the Icor. She circled friends because friends are really important to her. We know that because she wants to spend more time with them. And then she circles, I've been perfect at it for years, which is very true. She's like, what in the world? I've been perfect at it. And I think her circling that while she's twisted is kind of that sadness turning into anger because now she's twisted and she's more of a monster than she was before. Something else pretty interesting about this room is if you walk into this room in an actual game and not in roleplay mode, and you're playing one of the new holiday tunes, whether it's Bobette, Rudy, Cole, or Ginger, they each have their own dialogue that they say when they come into this room. Another huge shout out to Mangomation 711 for posting all of these interactions right here. Again, I'll have it linked down below if you guys want to go watch it. But when Rudy comes into this room, all he says is, whoa, ... Like this is clearly surprising to him to see it in such disarray. When Ginger comes in, she just says, oh, Bobette, ... When Cole comes in, she just says, wine. But then most interesting of all, when Bobette comes into this room, she says, I don't remember leaving things like this. So from Ginger saying, oh, Bobette, ... And then Bobette saying, I don't remember leaving things like this, I think we can clearly see at this point that Bobette did leave things like this, but when she was in a twisted state, obviously. That's why there's Icor all over the ground here and all over the tools and the things that she was working with because, you know, she got enraged and then became twisted and then just Icored the whole place up. So the bottom line, what this all boils down to is Bobette is awesome. She is programmed to be very cheerful. She is very cheerful. All she wants to do is spread the holiday cheer no matter what. She doesn't want to say no. She just wants to make everybody happy, and if making Arthur happy means doing twice the work, then she's gonna pretend like she's okay with it on the outside, but then clearly on the inside, it really affects her to the point where I think it's what made her become twisted. And I think Ginger knows it too. She's looking from the outside in, and she's seeing what's happening with Bobette, and that's why she said, oh, Bobette, ... because she knows. She knows that she's being overworked, and Ginger also can't do anything about it either. The question really becomes, though, whose fault is all of this? Is it Delilah's for programming these tunes with real emotions and having feelings and then maybe wanting them to become twisted? Or is this really Arthur's fault? Forcing the tunes to do labor, knowing that they have real feelings and wants, but having to put those aside to do the work that he wants them to do instead. There is one last thing that I noticed that I haven't seen anybody talk about yet, and it to me is very important and very interesting, is if you look into this room back here, we have seen this a lot. This sort of like open door with the Icor kind of leading with the footsteps out. This is not new to us, but what I find really interesting is in this case, it leads to a puddle of Icor with the Dandy cardboard cutout sign standing in the middle of it. And we've seen this Dandy cardboard cutout a lot throughout the Garden View Center, but what's really interesting about this one is where it's placed. Because if you'll notice, if you look from like this, where's the camera? It's like over here. If you look from this angle right here, and then I put the Bobette tape right next to it, you will see that the cardboard cutout of Dandy is standing exactly where Arthur is standing looking outside this window. You cannot tell me this was not done on purpose. Look, Arthur is standing there, Dandy is standing there, and clearly whoever was twisted in this case, or covered in Icor or some Icor being, placed this sign with Dandy right here. And they did it for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but Dandy is right there for a reason. Does Arthur Walton have more of an evil role to play in the Garden View Center? Has Delilah been innocent this entire time? Have they been working together for some evil plot that will be revealed in the future? I don't know. You tell me. Well, that's all that I personally know about the new lore in the Christmas update. If there's anything I missed or I didn't mention in this video, let me know down below. Also, let me know all of your own theories. A lot of this stuff is, of course, just my own theories. None of this is like 100% canon other than the obvious stuff that we know. But it's just so fun to make theories and to learn about this game as we're giving the stepping stones. Just one step at a time, we're figuring out what happened to the Garden View Center. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like rating down below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And if you want to see more videos from me, go and check out the video that poor Miss Bobette. I feel so bad for Bobette. She just wants to make people happy, and it's becoming harder and harder. So I guess, yeah, watch the video she's looking at. Sorry, I went on a little monologue there. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see all of you beautiful people in the next video.